Om. सर्वोपि बाह्य संसारः पुरुषस्य यदाश्रयः विद्धि देहमिदं स्थूलं गृहवद् गृहमेदिनः. Shankaracharya says in the 90th verse of Vivekachudamani, Sarvopi bahya sansarah purushasya yadashrayah. Bahya sansarah, external world of a person, of everyone, of all people, the external world is like for a person, the external world or the world in which a person indulges in sense enjoyments, that is like a viddhi idam deham sthulam deham grihavat grihamedinah. You know this external world dependent on which purushasya yad ashrayah, dependent on which people, purusha, any person, does the dealing with bahya sansara, with external world. What is that? That is sthulam deham idam. That is external body. So a person does all one's dealings with external world based on the external body. If one has to call a person, we call a person, that is mainly we call the external body. When we call somebody by name or ask that person to come near us, we are actually indicating the external body of the person. We are asking the person to come physically. So it is not just if the person thinks about you, it doesn't make that person come near you. You want the body of the person to come near you. So it is a physical presence you need. And similarly, if you are calling a person, you are calling that person, addressing that person by name, which name is attributed to that person's body. Similarly, everything. When we take a photograph of a person, that is the body of the person which is being photographed. And similarly, for all the interactions with a particular person, it is interaction with the external body which happens. Interaction with the external body which takes place. How is it? What is it comparable to? Grihavat Griha Medinaha. It is like Griha Medhin, a householder who is attached or who does everything in the house. Grihavat. So in the house, just like that, just like a householder or a person who is married or a person who is living in householder's life, Grihastha Ashrama, that person is doing everything based on the house. If you want to meet that person, you have to go to that particular person's house. If you want to talk to that person, you have to go to that particular person's house. And also, that person does everything in one's house, and that is why that person is directly connected with the house. Similarly, this gross body of ours is our house, and we do everything in this body, and that is the house which is also the place where you exhaust all your karmas, and this is also the place where you interact with the external world. Now, sansara or the world. The word sansara in Sanskrit means something which changes. Something which changes. So that sansara is of two types. One is an external world which changes, and another one is the internal world which changes. Sansara means something which changes, and it is of two types. One is the external world which changes, and then another one is internal world which changes. Inside you, what changes? Hmm? Mind. Why are you all looking so depressed? Huh? No. You're looking so depressed, morose, mortally afraid kind of situation. So, what changes in you? Mind. Inside you. So now you are sitting here and you are thinking of all kinds of things. Your mind is going in all directions at once. So your mind is changing, right? And that is what happens. So your mind is changing, and your mind has got so many different forms. In Sanskrit, we call it that there is ego, there is mind, and there is chitta, a place where whatever you do, an impression is formed of that. So, mind and ego. So, this mind constantly changes. In the morning, you are happy, in the evening, you may not be happy. Sometimes you are sad, sometimes you are morose, sometimes you are angry, you are depressed, etc. So, constantly your mind is changing. So, sansara means that which changes, and internally your mind is changing. Externally, what does change? What changes? Externally, what changes? Huh? Day night season. No, that is not your sansara. Your sansara is related to you. So externally, your body changes. Your body changes. Your gross body changes, and your sense organs, everything, they change. So this is what you have: an internal body and you have an external body. Internal sansara and external sansara. So this internal sansara keeps on changing, and external sansara also keeps on changing. How does internal sansara change? You have feeling of happiness, you have sorrow, as I told you, you have anger, all these kinds of attachment, etc. These things happen in the internal sansara. And in external sansara, what happens? What happens to the body? Huh? Yeah, you grow old. So there are 6 stages of any body, called 6 modifications of a body. Shat Vikara, they are called. Vikara means modification, Shat means 6. What are they? First is Jayate, first it is born. Body is first born. Jayate, then Asti, it comes into existence. Once a body is born, it comes into existence. So, is it possible that a body is born and it does not come into existence? No, it has to. Huh? It is not possible.
It is not possible. It has to exist.
It is possible. That is why old people, they have given 2 stages. In the case of stillbirth, a stillborn baby, body comes into existence, but nobody comes into existence. Body is born, but no life is coming into existence. So, jayate, asti, then you come into being. Okay. And then after coming into being, jayate asti, vardate, growth, grow. In the initial part of a human life, the growth is very fast, and then slowly the growth stops. So, jayate, asti, vardate, then viparinamate. There are different kinds of modifications in a person's body depending on a particular age. The different types of modifications take place in one person's body. And then apakshiyate, viparinamate, jayate, asti, vardhate, viparinamate, apakshiyate. Apakshiyate means your body starts getting deteriorated. It starts getting aging or decaying. So after some time, say after 40, the body starts to slowly decay. The process of decay of human body is very slow. compared to the process of growth. So growth is very fast, but fast, of course, compared to our own body decay, but compared to other animals, we grow very slow. So a cow gives a calf, birth to a calf, and after some time, some days, the calf can walk and all that. So human being, there are people who up to 25 years, 30 years live off their parents. So we have such wonderful self-respecting people in this world. So that happens. Why? Because human beings take lot of time to get common sense. So that is why. So, but apakshiyate, after 40 or something, this process of decay sets in, and then nashyati, and then one fine morning, or it may not be so fine, you die. So these 6 modifications take place in every body, not only with human body, every body, and that is the external world. And in that you have to all these different kind of states. Say for example, you are a baby. At that time, your whole perspective or idea of the world is different. When you are grown up, then your idea of the world is different, and constantly the idea of the world keeps on changing, and so does change what you want to do, your ambition. Swami Vivekananda, when he was a young boy, he wanted to become an engine driver. He said, engine driver is such a powerful person because he pulls the entire train and takes. So he is very powerful. So I will also become an engine driver. Then he wanted to become a coachman. Finally, he got a completely different goal in life. So that comes because you have different body and different mental makeup, and so this also keeps on changing. Similarly, a person, the example given by Shankaracharya is, so you have to take this body as only a place where you stay. It's just like your residential address, that's all. You are not the body. That is what Shankaracharya wants to say. How? Just like a householder has a residential address, a person who owns a house has an address. So he says that the idea is that if you want to, suppose somebody wants to get married, the first thing people ask is, what is your educational qualification? Then what is your salary? Then do you have some house, etc. Particularly in Indian scenario, the male will be asked these questions, that whether you have a house, whether you have everything. So unless a person has got a house, you cannot have a household. Unless a person has got a place to stay, one cannot start a family. So you need a place to stay. It may be rented, it may be something, but it should be a place where you can stay, and then only you can start a family. So similarly, if you have come to the world because of ignorance, but you have come to this world and you have to exhaust your karmas, then you need a body. So that is the only role of body, not more than that. But what do? We give so much importance to the body that in our whole life there is nothing but the body. If the body is little, even if some small rash comes on our skin, we run helter skelter. Then whole thing goes sour, So everything goes helter skelter. So that is not what we should do. That is what Shankaracharya says. He says in the next verse, Sthulasya sambhava jara maranani dharmaha स्थौल्यादयोः बहुविधाः शिशुताद्यवस्थाः वर्णाश्रमादि नियमा बहुधा मयाः स्युः पूजा avamana bahumana mukha vishesha. Now he enumerates different kinds of states which can take place in the subtle body and in the gross body. Sthulasya sambhava jara maranani dharmaha. The gross body has got all the dharmaha or the properties or characteristics of a gross body. And what are they? They are Jara Maranani, old age and death. Old age and death. So Jara and Marana. Jara means old age and death. So there is this possibility of a gross body of getting old age and death. So what do? We try our best to postpone this death and also old age. But are we successful? We are not. So when death comes, you say, suppose you go, say, to some place and a security guard or somebody stops you. Suppose you are going in a what you call restricted zone and a security guard stops you. आपको अंदर नहीं जाने देंगे, यहाँ नहीं, आप जा नहीं सकते. So you look at this person like this, like what do you know, like that kind of expression you give that person. And no sir, नहीं जा सकते आप. तो बोला, आप जानते हो मैं कौन हूँ? आप जानते हो मैं कौन हूँ? अभी करूँ फोन? हाँ. That is the thing because we are all, particularly in Delhi, everybody is somebody. Nobody is nobody. Everybody is somebody. So everybody will बोला, जानते हो मैं कौन हूँ? कैसे मुझे रोका? तभी मैं फोन करता हूँ वगैरह. So that is why Delhi policemen have been specifically advised that don't worry if somebody says this. Once I was in 2010, once we went to the book fair. We participate in the Delhi book fair, World Book Fair. So we were there and we were just entering, and then at that time the DGP of Haryana, DGP, he was going inside with all his escort vehicle and all that paraphernalia, return DGP. And one Delhi police constable stopped him there. Said, sir, अंदर नहीं जा सकते. So the DGP, obviously, the person who was with him, that was also some SP or something. He came down and he said, अरे क्या बोल रहे हो? DGP हैं हरियाणा के. बोले, आप हो सकते हैं DGP सर, लेकिन अंदर नहीं जा सकते. And he had to go back. So in Delhi, everyone is a VIP. So they will say, पता है कौन है? पता है मैं कौन हूँ? मुझे रोक दिया. अभी फोन करो. So that is the thing. But say death comes. Say you are about to die. You try telling death, पता है मैं कौन हूँ? मुझसे ही पंगा. मैं बताऊँ, फोन करो फोन. कुछ नहीं होने वाला. Next you try saying, थोड़ा देख लो ना, कुछ setting वेटिंग कर लो. This is another thing which Indians are so fond of telling. थोड़ा देख लो, कुछ हो जाए तो जो भी होगा खर्चा पानी हम दे देंगे. Death will not stop. Or if you say, अरे हमको छोड़ दो ना, गलती हो गई, माफ कर दो, it will not stop. You do whatever, death will come. Churchill famously said once that death came to me many times, but saw that I was busy and did not disturb me. So he kept himself so busy. So he says that if a person is active, then the person has a longer life. So death will not wait even if you are active, even if you are busy, even if you are a big shot or you are not. For death, everyone is same. Similarly for old age. A person when young may look at old people, scorn at them and say that, oh, aapse nahi hoga, vagera, vagera. But when that person becomes old, you may have servants, you may have people to take care of you, but all the same, you yourself would not be able to do things with your body. So Jara, Marana, all these are the characteristics of a body, of a Sthauladayo, Bahuvidaha. These are different kinds of characteristics of the gross body. And also, it has different types of stages of development, like Shishuta means childhood, Adi Avastaha, different types of growth stages. So in a particular time, particularly when a person is in the teens, when particularly a person is 14 to 20 or something, then that is the time when everybody falls in love. And whatever they see, they all feel life is so rosy and everything is so positive and everything is so promising, etc., and love, and it is like you have come to some kind of imaginary place. Then this, oh, I will love you so much, and I will do this and that, and so many promises, etc. Why? Because that is the problem of the age. That is the problem of the age. Same thing after 40, 45, then what comes is this midlife crisis comes. So people, they become so cynical, and that is also the problem of the age. So, and when then people become old, they say, "Beta, हमारे जमाने में तो ऐसा होता था." Then it's always flashback continuously. Olden days, flashback used to go like this, no? Always flashback, and then that is because of age. So we think that we are great people, but most of the times we are slaves to our physical condition or state of our physical body. And also, apart from this, there is Varnashrama Adi Niyama. Your body cannot simply stay as it wants. Man is a social animal. This, if you want to live in society, you need to follow so many rules. You cannot do whatever you want. And of course, these rules change from place to place. In France, you can do so many things which in India you cannot. In the mountains in India, you can do so many things. Maybe in the plains, you cannot. And so many things are there. Something you can do in Vrindavan, you can do the same thing in Chennai, maybe. Something you can do in Gujarat, you cannot do the same thing in Assam. So it's all so varied. And so many things you can do in Sweden, but you cannot do them in New York. So, like Sweden, you can go out at any time, in any point of day or night. New York, after 7 o'clock, if you go, dangerous. Doubtful whether you will come back in one piece. So, all these, and there are so many other areas also, that in Delhi also, you can go to some areas all times of the day and night, but in other areas you cannot go out. So these rules, they vary from place to place, region to region, culture to culture, but you have to follow these rules. So what are the rules which our tradition has? That is, no, now these rules have changed, but at that time when this text was being written by Shankaracharya, Varna and Ashrama. What is Varna? Varna means caste. Of course, not the way people, not the straight-jacketed approach to caste as people have today. But caste means a person who will have different kinds of occupation, or different people will have different kinds of vocations based on their qualities and based on what they are doing. Guna karma vibhagashu. In Gita, Sri Krishna has told. And that is quite natural, even in societies where this varna has not been accepted, or caste system has not been accepted. This is done. A doctor is doing the work of a doctor, teacher is doing the work of a teacher, and a policeman is doing the work of a police person, etc. So last year, yes, 2013, there was a film in Hollywood called Divergent. Anybody saw that? So in that film, there are 5 groups of people. One who are interested in studies, one who are interested in protecting society, another who are interested in healing, etc. So it was based on the caste system, Varna system. So it has got nothing wrong. Actually, it is most scientific system. But because of vested interests and because of priestcraft, this has been abused. And so now what we can see in India is only the evils of caste system. And so we don't want to say that you are a Brahmin, because what it means today in India is Brahmin means his father also should have been a Brahmin. But that is not the original idea of caste system. So now that will slowly come again, that a doctor's father need not be a doctor. An engineer's father did not be an engineer. Anybody can take up any vocation or anything, but based on that vocation and based on what your qualities are, you are known to be a sannyasin. Anybody's son can become a sannyasin. Become means you give up everything. So that is the work of a sannyasin. Or a person can take up research. That is the work of a Brahmin. So that we have to again go back to the original idea of Varna. And what else was there? Ashrama. Ashrama means what? Stage in life. what there were 4 stages in life: brahmacharya, brahmacharya, garahastha, vanaprastha, and sannyasa. So if a person's age were 100, it was divided into 4 25-year slots. And then you said that first 25 year a person will study and develop oneself, brahmacharya. Then next 25 years the person will lead a householder's life. After 50 the person will become go for a contemplative life. If there was a spouse, with the spouse, that is garahastha. Garahastha was 25 years. Then vanaprastha, you go to forest, you go to a contemplative life, and then finally you give up even that spouse. And sannyasa. So even those days, see, conveniently it has been given after 75. So till 75 if you don't live, then you don't have to give sannyasa. But Shankaracharya says, grihatva vanatva. If you have so much of renunciation, you can take sannyasa from whatever ashrama you are. Either you staying in brahmacharya ashrama itself, you can become a monk, etc. So now psychology associations across the world, pediatric associations across the world. Now people, and particularly in India, if somebody finds something that is complete crap, but if somebody finds something in US of A, that is gospel truth. So now in US of A, so we are not bothered what is happening in India. Why should we bother? In US of A, that is United States of America, there are so many psychology associations and pediatric associations who have found this, and many people have over and again published white papers that children should not be exposed to electronic devices up to the age of 2. Children should not be exposed to so many other things up to the age of, say, 10. Relationship quarrels, conflicts should not be exposed, etc., etc. So now we are coming back to the original idea that till 25 there should be some discipline. Not that after that there should be indiscipline, but there should be strict discipline till 25. So slowly this will happen. Already retirement age was 65, no 60. Now after some time it will become 50. And then we will go back to the original wonderful idea of this. Because why will we do that? Because of the increasing stress in society. Now people cannot handle so much. So earlier what happens, well, earlier a person used to get into a job, earlier means some couple of decades ago, and then whole life they used to strive, and then finally they used to have one house. Now it only takes 2 3 years for a person to get one house, and another 3 years for getting two houses. So now the things have changed. So slowly it will happen like this brahmacharya for 25 years, and then garhastha for 50 years, etc. And what is the grihastha ashrama? What is householder's ashrama? It is the most good or bad? Huh? Good or bad? It is the most good or the best ashrama. Why? Because it provides for all the other 3 people. So all people who are there in Vruddhashrama, they are provided by these people, or at least supposed to be provided by these people. Nowadays they are not provided. They are provided by themselves. So, and also students should be provided by these people, etc. So Grihastha ashrama provides for brahmacharya, vanaprastha, and sannyasa ashrama. So this system was there in those days. So Shankaracharya says that this all these rules the external body has to follow. And bahuda amayaha syu, and also that body is subjected to different kinds of amayaha, means diseases. So many types of diseases the body gets. So if you do things also, you get disease. Earlier people did not have comfort so much. Now thanks to technology we have so much comfort, but then also we get disease. Earlier diseases were different: malnourishment, then body becoming old quickly. If you see these hill people, the age may be 40 but they look like 60. Why? Because they do a lot of physical labor. And people who are now, we are all living comfortable lives, but what has happened? We have hypertension, we have triglyceride, we have so many other problems, diabetes, etc. We are all very sweet people, and puja, avamana, bahumana, sukha, vishesha. So we also, this body is given different types of treatment. Some people's bodies are worshipped, like say Salman Khan, etc. If you have six pack, etc., your body is worshipped, because that is what a person should strive for in human life. No, six pack, nothing else. So six-figure salary and six-pack body, and you get that, so you are worshipped. And then avamana, and also some bodies are insulted. And then also you have bahumana sukha, different kinds of high honor you are given. It all depends on who you are. So if you are a great person, you will be always honored. And depends what in India today, what characterizes whether you are a great person or not, your bank balance, and also whom you know. Suppose you know people. uh, Suppose somebody knows the president of US of A, that person is a great person. So we all bask in reflected glory. So this is what. So these type of things are characteristic of a human body or a gross body. So we have to understand that the gross body has got only so much of importance as far as it has to be used to do whatever we want to do, to exhaust our karmas. That is what Shankaracharya says. It is just nothing but a physical address. So we should not give more importance to it than it deserves. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat.